Hello world, welcome to the 211th video on my channel where I'm building my own digital assistant named Shane, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies and comics. Please consider subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and leave a comment if you use Wireshark or Pyshark for any of your projects. So I've been doing a bunch of research on different parts of my home automation system, and I really just want something that's local storage, that I have full control, and isn't sending data outside of my network that I'm not allowing. So I have a doorbell system that I bought from Reolink, and I'm not sponsored by them. And so I have a Reolink. It's local storage on an SD card. You can use your app, but I'm going to use Home Assistant for it, and you can watch that video here. But I wanted to make sure before I went too far with Reolink products on what information is being sent out. So unfortunately, spoiler alert, I don't know how to access the data leaving my Reolink camera because I think it only senses traffic to my router. And so if you're familiar with Wireshark or Pyshark and you know how to access external like other devices outside of normal devices, then please let me know. But for now, I'm going to show you Wireshark and Pyshark. So if you're not familiar with Wireshark, you can go here to wireshark.org download.html, and we'll go there. And then you download whatever stable release that is applicable to you, and then you install it like any other software. Then it'll look like this. So this is Wireshark Network Analyzer. Gives you a bunch of options here. We're going to select Wi-Fi, right? And then you can press this scan button right here, start capturing packets. And then now you can see we have packets being sent, and this is basically everything that's going on in my Wi-Fi. And I can click on any packet that's being sent, and it provides a summary of all that information. Now, you do have to know a lot about, I guess cybersecurity would be the discipline, but basically network protocol, and to see all the different things that's going on in my Wi-Fi. And so you can see a source IP address and a destination IP address. There's also a color code right here that's color coding it. Right now it's the default. I have not changed the color code. So let's stop that. And so that's a lot of information, and unless I know a lot of ethical hackers can just see this scrolling at that speed and know everything that's going on just based off of the MAC address or the source IP. They probably memorize quite a bit of destination IP addresses. Funny enough, I think this is Amazon. Like, all of our computers talk to Amazon and Azure all the time. But anyways, and so that's how you do that, but you can do a display filter as well, so you can limit what you're doing. You have a bunch of options. Just go ahead and type to see all of them. So you can do IP address equals, you can do IP.source equals, you could do HTTP filters if you want, but we're just going to do a quick IP.address, and let's do 145, all right? Which is, I think, my cell phone. So let's go ahead and start analyzing that. I'm going to continue without saving. So it looks like there's some activity now, but I'm just going to go on the internet and do nothing on there. Alright, and so you can see quite a bit of information. So let's go source, and there you can see that 145 right here. And then you can go to the destination. Let's do it like that. And go up here and see the different destination places. All right, so that is just a brief introduction on Wireshark. So let's click on something here. So let's click on this one. And basically you have these huge JSONs of information right here to look at all the information that's being sent. All right, but you can use Python to do it too. So if I want to create my digital assistant named Shane, and I want it to do this function and look for very specific packets. Now, this probably causes quite a bit of memory, and so you probably don't want it continuously sniffing from a desktop or something. You would need a software as a service to do this for you, or you would need a computer probably dedicated to just cybersecurity in your home. And so the first thing you'll do is import Pyshark. You can do it from the command prompt or file settings if you're using PyCharm. So I use 3.7 for just messing around, but you can have the most current Python, whatever you have installed, I think 3.11. And so just go to Pyshark and then install that package. So it'll install just fine, but you might run into some errors. And so to get rid of many of those errors, you can go to this https npcap.com and download. So you'll want to download everything, T-Shark, npcap, so everything that this comes with, right? This npcap free edition. I just used, I believe, this one right here, the Windows one, right? Windows 11. So I just used installer, and then it worked fine. So you can import Pyshark, and then you can create a packet capture instance. So capture equals, in other tutorials you might see cap, so cap equals, but capture equals pyshark.live capture. You can also download the files in npcap file. So if I was using Wireshark all the time, and I, instead of quit without saving, I just press save, it would save it into a file that I think you can read here instead of live capture. So the same thing, if you remember the display filter, this is how you do the display filter right here. So you can also leave this blank, which would just be scanning your whole Wi-Fi. So this is an example right here, capture equals pyshark.live capture. And then capture.set debug. And then you'll see when I debug it, it just gives you all the information below. I like to use that function whenever possible. And then capture.sniff. And then I added a 50 millisecond or 50 second timeout, again, to conserve memory if you're saving all of this to a file. You can also do sniff continuously like that. But again, you're going to run into memory issues. And then for packet in the capture, so this one right here, we're going to print the packet, and then we're going to stop the bracket or the capture. So let's run this, and then we'll see the debug down here. So and this is why it's using T-Shark. This is a T-Shark wrapper is what it's called. Starting to go through packets, and it's basically going through all the files that it finds. Let me use my phone real quick just in case that's preventing it from running. Go to Facebook. Okay, I'm going to stop the file just so it doesn't overload my computer. But so we found a packet right here. And then this is just a JSON version of what we saw inside of the Wireshark. And then this is because I just closed it right here. I just closed it like that instead of letting it properly close. One of the cool things that you can do is you can just explicitly call out the thing that you want. So let's go to the Pyshark documentation to see what I'm talking about. Nope. I want to go to the GitHub. Alright, so this is the .cap folder that I was talking about if you wanted to read from a file or instead of live capture. So this is the sniff continuously, like I mentioned, and then every 5 packets it finds, it'll print it. This is how we're doing a .sniff right here. And then, so if you wanted to just call out specific items, so it can be accessed in multiple ways, like layers, instead of a JSON. So you can say packet. So in here, you can say print packet, and then IP.destination or .source, and it'll start printing it for you. So it's pretty useful. Again, I'm not using it for the way I wanted to use it. I wanted to search for the IP address of just my doorbell camera, but that IP address doesn't show up anywhere on my capture despite me using it actively, unless I go directly to the camera straight from my, like this, Reolink here, and go straight to the camera. Then I can see it, but then it's just tracking my notebook. And so that's what I'm trying to use it for. But I hope you find this useful for your projects. This is just a quick introduction to Pyshark. I am going to put this in my cybersecurity playlist instead of a home automation playlist. And you can watch that whole cybersecurity playlist by clicking here. And thanks for watching. Goodbye, world.